Once again, the fight over sending National Guard troops to Chicago is back in the headlines. Governor Pritzker says he will fight any deployment in court if it ever happens. While President Trump blasted the governor's record on crime and says it will likely be a key issue going into the midterms. Beyond the political back and forth, this has also turned into a fight over crime stats.
In the last few days, we have heard a lot of numbers thrown around about either justifying or refuting why National Guard troops should be sent to Chicago. So what do you need to know about those statistics? Our Charlie Wojciechowski on the story for us to help us sort this all out. Charlie?
Well, Allison, Stephan, it was Mark Twain who a quote is attributed to. It said something like, "There are lies, damn lies, and statistics." That can be applied to this current debate about Guard deployment in Chicago. Everyone can back up their point with a study. But the question is, what is the state of crime in Chicago? Also, what's the perception?
Units at 16 on City Vibe. We're getting a person shot. 5814 West Newport. 5814 West Newport. Coming over details to follow.
A police radio report of a shooting earlier this year. Part of what the White House calls the crime and despair gripping major U.S. cities like Chicago. The Trump administration points to a report from the Rochester Institute of Technology showing that of cities with populations greater than 1 million people, Chicago's homicide rate is higher than Dallas, Los Angeles, and New York City, something it says that has been consistent over the past 7 years. But when you widen the lens, you see a different picture.
The comparison's really what you're interested in sort of drawing out.
When Security.org analyzed FBI violent crime data, Chicago didn't even make the top 10. Memphis, Tennessee ranked number 1. In its mid-year report, the Council on Criminal Justice notes a rise in Chicago homicides during the pandemic years, but a significant reduction in recent months. Ernesto Lopez is a senior research specialist at CCJ.
Chicago has experienced about a 33% decline in homicides in the first half of 2025 compared to the first half of 2024. Other large cities saw about a 17% decline.
But Lopez cautions that any crime trends must be viewed over time.
Looking at the long term, Chicago is doing better in their overall trends, so they're trending downward. However, when you look at the actual rate of homicide, Chicago is one of the higher homicide cities in the United States. In a good year, Chicago could have a homicide rate that's about 3 times the national average.
What really counts for many people is the perception of how safe they feel despite what the crime rate may be. That is a perception that can be affected more by the neighborhood you live in than from the statistics you might hear. Allison, Stephan, back to you.
Important context and perspective there. We appreciate it. Charlie Wojciechowski, good to see you.